Remember when we had to zip up every portal in the Season 6 live event? Yeah, well, some reason each portal was literally from Travis Scott's concert. Take a look. And this was definitely done on purpose. For why, we can't yet understand, but this barely scratches the surface of 10 secrets you missed in the Fortnite Season 6 live event. Leave a like and pop in code T5G in the item shop if you buy the battle pass for a shout out in our next video like these legends. But anyways, let's jump right into it with number 10, 0 Point Bloom Easter Egg. One of the most crucial moments in the Season 6 live event was when the 0 Point began to bloom like a flower. This marked the moment of truth. The 0 Point was on the brink of explosion and the Foundation had to seal himself away. But for some players with excellent memory, you may get some deja vu looking at this blossom, and that's because Epic Games actually teased this exact thing almost a year ago. Yeah, back in June 2020 during Chapter 2 Season 3, a back bling was released in the Battle Pass, and right there in Tier 63 was the Infinite Bloom back bling, and as you could see, it was kind of right in front of our eyes the whole time. Epic Games do this sort of thing very often, and yet we still never see it coming. But let's move on to Easter eggs from the event itself with number 9, the Terminator Easter Egg. During the opening cinematic, a lot of stuff's going on, so it's hard to focus on multiple things at a time, but there's one thing that it seems like most players missed. If you really looked for it though, some of you may have noticed a very different style of truck than we're used to. And a lot of people would see this and assume this means we're getting more vehicles this season, but it goes further. And while it would be awesome, this is more than just any old truck, it's actually the truck from the chase scene in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and it's kind of like a nod to the movie. Epic really went out of their way trying to portray the different realities and everything like that, and it looks like they put this truck in the cutscene for the most hardcore of fans to see. Even better is that you could look even closer at the truck and spot a llama hanging as an air freshener. The attention to detail is absolutely insane. Most players would never even notice this. And I think a lot of people definitely didn't notice number 8, which is the real reality wave. Also in the opening cinematic were a few hidden secrets that aren't references but might be hints at the future. As you know, during the event we kept getting reality waves which warped the island and allowed us to see different alternate realities. Well, in the cinematic, one of these waves sweeps through pretty quickly and you have to pause at the right time to see it, but when you do, it's pretty awesome. The wave changes the island from the in-game graphics to something that looks very photorealistic, even actually realistic. I mean, that's exactly what it is, a realistic version of Fortnite, possibly something based on our real world, and in this frame you could even see 3 people reaching out to the 0 Point. Epic very clearly put this in for a reason, and I don't know what this could be teasing, but it's interesting. Some have theorized that it's a completely destroyed map, with others thinking it's kind of a tease for a Fortnite movie. I gotta say, it's probably not the movie, but it's still really cool. And speaking of cool, there's an awesome secret at number 7, which is the secret rift gun feature. So during the event itself, the reality waves eventually spawned in the brand new wild animals that we could find in Season 6. And of course, the whole event was designed in a way to show off the new Battle Pass skins and have a reason for them being on the island. So at the start, you of course get your hands on Jon Jones' rift gun. But the only real use for this thing is to close the reality portals in order to progress the event. However, we found out if you wander off the path a little bit and head towards the chickens, the rift gun has another purpose. You can actually shoot the chickens and it will send them flying. Although it doesn't kill them, it's awesome to know that Epic considered the player doing this and actually worked around it. I gotta say, Epic really thought of everything when making this event, especially when it comes down to the little details, and I guess that also brings us to number 6, which is Master Chief's Scar Easter Egg. Okay, sure, Fortnite has received an absolute ton of crossovers in the last few seasons, and it's been pretty overwhelming. However, despite having all these realities and universes mashing into one big world, Epic still manages to keep them from just feeling like a Fortnite skin. For example, in the opening cinematic, you can see Master Chief amongst the other hunters participating in the Battle Royale. But there's something happening here that only Halo fans would have noticed, and it's really subtle. Okay, so you see Master Chief shooting the Scar, right? But do you notice something odd about it? He's actually firing it in bursts of 3, and you can't even do that in Fortnite, so why would Epic do this? Was it just a random choice? Does it make no sense? No, it actually all ties together. In Halo 3, one of the most iconic weapons was the BR, aka the battle rifle, which also shot in a 3-round burst. Basically, Master Chief is used to these guns from Halo and came to Fortnite unprepared, it looks like. So it would make sense that he'd shoot Fortnite guns like he used to in the other games. It's a really awesome detail that almost nobody noticed, but Epic still added it anyway. But a weird and unexplainable secret is at number 5, which is talking about Mandalorians Poi just disappearing. So during the event cinematic, you can see in the background of the action that a certain POI is actually missing from the map. If you remember the last few weeks of Season 5, you know that the Mandalorian received his own POI in the form of the Cantina from Star Wars. However, if you take a look at the cinematic, that POI just is not there. Now this would be interesting on its own, but once you actually head from the cutscene into the event's gameplay, the Mando's POI is just back where it used to be. I don't know why Epic forgot to add the POI to the cutscene, or maybe they didn't expect it to be in game until the end of Season 5. Either way, way, it's a cool detail that not many people might have noticed. And this is where things start to get freaky. You want to pay attention now as we talk about number 4, which is the return of Kevin the Cube. Ever since the second Season 6 began, we have received quite a number of hints and teases that Kevin the Cube might actually be returning this season or soon after. For starters, when the 0 point exploded during the event, it turned a large chunk of the map into the primal theme that we're playing on right now. However, this pattern isn't exactly random. There are small spire spots around the island, and if you actually compare the locations of these spots to the locations of Kevin's runes in Chapter 1, it's scarily similar. Take a look. Now, it could just be a coincidence, or something more, and here's why it could be something more. If you look in the battle pass for Season 6 and head to tier 50, you'll find a new skin called Raz, and he has a very interesting design, not just because he's a topless dude with tattoos, but because of this. This is his edit style, and as you can see, he's now gray and purple. All over his body are the exact runes we see on, you guessed it, Kevin the Cube. And if you're still skeptical, the literal code name for Raz in the files is Cube Ninja. So he knows something, and in his quest to find the Spire secrets, he might just find Kevin, who knows? Okay, but moving on, now it's time to talk about a different mysterious character with number 3, Secrets About the Foundation. In the event, we were introduced to the first member of the 7 since Season X. It's crazy. After literally years of waiting, we finally got the identity of another member revealed, except people who just played the event and moved on might not know anything else about our new friend. Okay, so when Jon Jones uses his rift gun to open a portal to a reality containing the Season 4 meteor, it doesn't bring the Visitor, but instead the Foundation. So this is likely because the Visitor's reality is the one we're playing in right now, and the Foundation, along with the 7, are from alternate universes. But the Foundation isn't just another member of the 7, he's actually the leader of it. Yeah, that's according to the leaked skin version of him, where his description says that his sacrifice won't be forgotten, the leader of the 7. And through his design, we could also spot a unique logo on his cape. It could be his personal logo, but in my opinion, it could also be the first look at the 7's official logo, which would make sense. If so, we've got to keep this one ingrained in our minds. But now it's time for number 2, which is talking about Agent Jones's rift jumps. In the cinematic and the event, Jon Jones is wearing an outfit much different to the one he's known for. We're used to him in his classic blue suit and red tie, but of course this is a very different outfit. During his travels in Season 5, his outfit slowly deteriorated and he had to make use of the items in each reality he traveled to. And you can see through his skin variants the exact timeline of these events. At his 15th reality jump, his suit begins to get wear and tear, and this is where we see him in the Walking Dead trailer. Then, at jump 23, Jones goes to the Terminator reality, where we spot him with the Terminator sunglasses, his sleeves ripped off and his tie wrapped around his arm. Next up, we see Jon Jones at jump 31, where he recruits our Street Fighter friends, and at this point, he removes his undershirt and uses it as a karate belt. We don't see Jones again until jump 42, where he recruits his final hunters in the alien reality, and this is where he has completely abandoned his suit and is using a range of items. He's wearing Ryu's headband, Snake Eyes' tattoo, Daryl's arrows, and armor made by the Mandalorian. And this is what we see him wearing during the event, and it's a sign of him abandoning the imagined order and switching to the good side, in my opinion. It's really cool, and just before we get to our number 1 spot, obviously we have a couple honorable mentions to go over, which is police cars. So in the opening cutscene, a lot of things are happening, and one of the funniest and most shocking part is when Ryu does a Hadouken, or whatever it's called, and absolutely melts Peely. Although most people are distracted by this moment and completely miss something random but hilarious. In the background of this, you could actually see a police car chasing an SUV, but they get rifted out of the map. And it could be a hint that police cars are remaining vaulted for this season 2 and probably forever. If you don't know, in Season 3, all police cars in Fortnite got completely removed. You'll never be able to see a police car again, and they did it again. It's kind of weird, kind of funny, but anyways, moving on to our second honorable mention, we're going to talk about Travis Scott. In the live event, we had to close a bunch of portals manually, but it was hard to tell where the portals actually led. And it turns out that upon closer look, all 4 of these portals all showed a different scene of the Travis Scott concert. One portal shows the island on fire, one shows the space scene, while the other 2 show the island completely underwater and a random space image. Now this could be a hint at Travis Scott returning, but it could also just be Epic reusing assets, which they do all the time. It's still insanely cool and a really awesome secret that almost nobody noticed, and please Epic, please do another Travis Scott concert, we all want it. But for some of the juiciest storyline secrets, we have our final spot with number 1, talking about Dr. Sloan. So a lot of people might not have noticed, but in the event, there was one brand new character introduced that went over everybody's heads. And it turns out, thanks to the event, we've actually got an official name for Jonesy's boss and the leader of the Imagined Order. And she's probably extremely important to the storyline, way more important than any of us ever thought. It isn't stated in the cutscene itself, but if you turn on the captions or had subtitles on while watching in game, you might have spotted that Jonesy's boss is actually labeled as Dr. Sloan. And before you become skeptical that this is the same person that we've heard on the phone before, well, here's a clip of her talking in the event.
The 0 point is imploding. We've lost control. Save yourself!
If I don't stop this, it could destroy all existence.
You have your orders, now get out of there!
I'm gonna do what we should have done from the very start.
And now here's her talking in the season 5 story trailer.
They did it! We're still here!
Yeah, but the 0 point is exposed. You have to go in.
I gotta admit, it's 100% the same person, and it's awesome to have a name attached to her, Dr. Sloan. And it goes further because she might be essential to the Fortnite storyline. A lot of people are actually theorizing that Dr. Sloan is secretly one of the quote-unquote sisters that Jon Jones mentions to the Foundation. If he's willing to hand over his boss to the Seven, it's possible that the Imagined Order is actually run by these sisters of Gino. And I know it doesn't make any sense. We'll touch upon it in a future story video once I kind of actually figure it out myself. But that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. This, of course, has been Tommy. Keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.